Joe, take it away.
All right. I'm real happy that you're happy about it. And in the spirit of being happy about the serialization of this current act, this is CRABZ, episode 3. Last time we left off, the good crab Orwell had found clean air. The good crab Orwell sits atop what is left of a mountain somewhere on the east coast, decimated by fracking. The Appalachian Mountains were abandoned when they ran out of resources to dig up. This abandonment has given the area the most time to heal its human wound. Deep forests once blown away for dust collection return as shrubs and lichen. What would be considered meager growth centuries ago is now some of the greenest land left outside the domes. The air is clear. It could probably be resettled, but it's best that it isn't. The Orwell will rest here, gather and grow, but the crew knows they can't stay. Using up resources and clean air is what they do in the domes. The Orwell is a healing ship. Its outer hull is lined with plants and fungi. It wears an ecological filter, curated with life that thrives despite toxicity and radiation. It would be invisible in this landscape, like an overgrown boulder, if it weren't for the massive balloons rising from the top deck. Attached with tension cables and power wiring, the balloons are the Orwell's lungs and nose. They collect energy from wind and sunlight above the haze and gather information by sniffing the air. The largest of the balloons is the mobility dirigible. It sits 700 feet above the roof, roughly 1,000 feet above the ground. It is accessible by a single ladder with one rest deck at 300 feet. There are 5 people aboard the Orwell that are willing to climb the ladder. 2 of them are over the age of 10. "You're just scared," says Anne. "I bet you can't even make it to the first deck." Dash looks into the sky, squinting his eyes to make out the circle of railing. His heart thumps against his ribs. His face is flush with blood. I could," he says without looking away. "I'm the best climber on this ship. I bet I could get there before you could." "Yeah, well, there's only one ladder, so I'm not going to pass you," Anne rolls her eyes. "Seems pretty tall," Gorgak, the tallest of the 3, says. "We're not even supposed to be up here. I could climb it easy, I just don't want to get in trouble," Dash says. "Yep, you're scared," Anne says, grinning. It's the first time they've been allowed out of the ship in almost a year. Cool gusts of wind howl through the tension wires and rattle the ladder. Dash is transfixed on the rest deck. Anne crosses her arms and looks around. Gorgak kneels, prodding some moss, exploring the outside. They think about changing their name to Moss, or Moth, maybe next month. Mon, they say to no one. The French have a term for the desire to jump from high places, l'appel de vide, the call of the void. Currently, Dash is experiencing something like that in reverse. From the tension in his shoulders to the increasing heart rate, everything in his body is telling him that climbing this ladder is a bad idea. At the same time, the high place calls to him. "This'll show them how scared I am. Everyone will be so impressed. They'll call me the bravest kid on this crab." Dash turns away from his friends to hide the tears forming in his eyes. He starts to breathe heavily, placing his tiny hands on the rungs above his head. They're wet. Clumps of spongy moss cover them like welts. He can barely get his hand around. "Wait, you're not going to do it, are you?" Anne says, looking around to see if they're being watched. "Aren't you supposed to wear a rope?" Dash starts to climb without looking back. His feet slip on the first rungs as he struggles to lift himself too far at first. He decides to take it one at a time, arms hugging the outside of the ladder. At 5 feet up the ladder, he turns back to his comrades. "If you're scared, you don't have to come," he says through tears. Gorgak turns away from prodding moss and puts their hands on the ladder, pulling away at first. "Bet we could see everything up there," they wonder out loud as they start to climb up after Dash. "I was just kidding, you know," Anne calls up to them. She looks around to see if anyone is watching. Maybe if someone saw them, they could be stopped. She didn't think Dash was going to do it. He's usually all talk. With her friends embarked, she does the only thing honorable and joins their climb into the sky. Dash is now too high to look down or around. It takes all of his strength to keep his arm around the ladder. Each rung is wet and mossy. The higher he goes, the windier it becomes. Deadly fast air rips through the tension cables, howling. He focuses on what's in front of him. Face drenched in tears, he snorts back a head full of snot. I can't do it, I can't do it, he tells himself, throwing his left hand up as he grips the side of the ladder with the right arm. The ladder is cold, and the texture of its rungs rub on his palms painfully. Are you guys okay? He wails down to his friends. Gorgak, several inches taller than Dash and a few years older, grips each rung easily. They hang away from the ladder, swinging back and forth, swaying in the wind, letting go of one hand and foot, flapping like a flag with their eyes closed. The air smells so clean, no recycled farts, no juniper to mask the smell of recycled farts. I don't want to go back inside ever. I never want to come down, they think. What if we never come down? Anne worries as they climb higher. She guesses they could build a life for themselves once they reach the rest deck. She shivers in the wind, clenching her jaw and thrusting herself up, determined to make sure they get onto the deck safely. Her head hits Gorgak's foot. Sorry, Gorgak yells down. Are you okay? Yeah, are you okay? She yells back. Dash? 14 feet up the ladder. Dash is unable to climb further. Paralyzed by fear, his body heaves with sobbing. I can't do it, he squeals in defeat. I can't do it, and now we're all gonna die. That's it. The end.
Oh, we gotta wait? Oh. Oh, man. I'm so happy.